The time is now, our true power. It is very common to observe people putting ideas of time into their life experiences. People who lack power generally tend to put off until later what they can do now. Power is the ability to remain fully present and direct one's attention toward their intended outcome until it is a reality. Every time we put off something for later that we could create or experience now, we place a bet against our own power. We are literally affirming to ourselves, I'm not ready to create or experience this. There's nothing inherently wrong about this. It's just a good way to become aware of our own power or our lack of it. If you really want to see how powerful you are being, become aware of how many things you're putting off for later. Observe your inner dialogue and the conversations with others, and you'll realize how often you are putting the past or future into your life. People are often busy putting off the life they've always dreamed of. The fascinating thing you'll notice is that the trade we are making for this putting off is usually for mundane survival tasks. We tend to misprioritize our attention and do things like put off that meditation session that we know that will make us more effective and peaceful because we had too many other mundane day-to-day things to do. We dream about some experience that would really support us in gaining more joy, power, and effectiveness, and we let our ego talk us out of it because of a lack of money or time, etc. We say to ourselves we will do it later. Some people live their entire life putting things off for a later that never happens. Time. The ego identity self needs time to be in all of its creations. It does not have the time for now. When we are being here now, we are putting the ego and its insecurities and inadequacies off for later. When we live in the now, we realize that whatever we are experiencing now, we created in some other now moment, and it needs to be fully experienced. This is the karma that Eastern teachings mention. It equates to putting time in our creations again. It was something we could have experienced in that moment that we created it in, instead of putting it off for later. When we become more integrated with the now, the present moment, we realize we can steer our reality in each moment by shifting our attention toward where we are headed, toward our intended outcome. We create and experience it all now and do not put off anything for later. We begin to see the perfection of each now moment, and that people and experiences are reflecting back to us everything that we need now. That is all available now, that we do not have to wait until later or need to reassert the past as an excuse for our lack of power. However, for true power to be realized, one must embrace everything that they've created before this now. We must embrace all of our resisted and desired beliefs and identities. Only then are we able to be present enough and attentive enough in this now to create the next now, instead of regurgitating and repeating the past over and over and over. So to simplify, we must practice fully embracing the now, every thought, emotion, sensation, and experience until we are one with the now moment. Then we can begin to create a whole new now in each moment of the present by directing our attention on our intention. Powerful beings create and then experience with little or no time in the equation. This is true power. Some highly enlightened souls can create what some would call miracles because they have integrated the now so deeply into their body-mind, and they're fully present and clear and have no obstacles to creating their intentions. There's no time for them but now. All time is created by the ego identity self and its beliefs in inadequacy. Ultimately, these beliefs are what separate us from being our true self, the aware, silent witness. As we practice awareness through meditation and present moment living, and as we learn effective strategies to peel the layers of beliefs away that define our ego, identity self, and separate us from being the source, then we experience true power at the time, and the time is now all of the time. Take a moment to contemplate these ideas. How does living in the now empower us? What hinders people from living in the now? In what ways could living in the now in your own life be improved?